we're going to be going over our memo section. As you see, here's our memo section, which of course is in our client store. Now this client I'm on is a good example to show you how our program puts in a lot of memos automatically for you of a lot of things you do in the program, quite a few things. Like all these have to do with claims, and it gives me the claim number and what I did. I had the status updated from reopened to voided and on what date. And you also notice all memos are stamped with the date and time. So here are a whole bunch of memos in here. As you look down here at the very bottom left, it tells me how many memos I have. I have 1 to 16. And I'll go ahead and scroll down here. You see I have a whole bunch of memos here in here. So that's a good example. You can see we add a lot of memos for you. Let me go ahead and switch clients so maybe there isn't so many memos we added in there. Let's go back. There's a search screen. Let's go back to memos. Now this person doesn't have as many, only has 5, so it's not a full screen, of course. So what can we do here in the memo section? Besides all the memos the program creates for you are put in here automatically, you can also create your own from here. I can click on Add New. Opens up a box. I can choose who's entering this. I can want to choose what policy. Okay, of course, if there's multiple policies, they'd all be listed here. I can choose what policy this memo goes with. I can memo type it. Now, when you're adding your own, we do default it to the memo type memo, but you can type it whatever you like. Now, the nice thing about memo type, if you choose to do it, you don't have to do it, is it is a shortcut when it comes to searching for things. Whether you be in your memo reminders and you're looking for a certain memo, or even in here you can filter by these memo types. Now maybe I want to do a type of image attached. Do I want to set myself up a reminder date? Sure, why not? Let's set it up for today's date. Of course, it shows me today's date and the time. Now what I like to add this to my to-do list. What this has to deal with is our QuickFile assistant, our office assistant. We have a to-do area in there where you can put in tasks for you to do, and you see your daily to-do list on the main dashboard of the program. Not everybody is going to have the to-do list. It depends on what program you have, what package. And if you haven't have it and you want to add your own memo in there that you're creating, you can check mark this and it will add it to our to-do list, and you can select the users that it's assigned to. And you can also set a priority to it. Is it high? Is it low? Is it normal? I'm going to go ahead and uncheck that. Now I can go ahead and put in my own memo. I'm going to put in test memo. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And now it's added my memo. Right here it is. It's one that's, in blue because that's the one I'm on. So right here it is. Now, I set a reminder on it. Now where do I find my memo reminders? Let's go back up here and we're going to go out to the dashboard. My memo reminders are right on the dashboard. Over on the upper right hand side it says memo reminders. Now inside of here, any memo reminder for today or any old ones I never dismissed will be displayed in here. Alright, so let me just open this up. And here are memo reminders. Of course, this has been covered in another training session, so I'm not going to go totally through all this, but it has all the same features as our regular memo section. Be able to add to it. You can also do a report. You can print out a report of all the reminders listed in here. You can snooze it, which means if I can't deal with it today, like here's mine, if I can't deal with it today, I can switch the date to someplace in the future. And when I'm done with a reminder, I always want to dismiss it to pull the reminder off. When you dismiss, it doesn't get rid of your actual memo. That's permanent. But what it does is dismiss it within your reminder section. You can also search by specific dates. Maybe you want to find memos that are actually set in the future. You could do that because they don't display until the day that they come due. And you can also sort these by your CSR as well as by the memo type that I just spoke about. Okay, so you can do these by memo type. I'm going to go ahead and go back out and let's head back into the memo section. So we're going to go back into clients and back down to memos. Also from here, if you find a memo that you have in here that you feel is important to you when you come into a client, you can highlight it. You see it turns it nice bright yellow, definitely catches your eye. Now when it's no longer important to you, I can select it again and choose highlight again, and it will pull the bright yellow off of it. I can append to a memo, which means of course I can add to the memo. So I can just do add test. So I can add to the memo and hit OK. Now, memos cannot be deleted, nor can the original text of a memo be edited. They are part of the permanent record. Due to E&O, you want this as part of the permanent record. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And now you see here, this is a memo that I just appended right here, and it tells me that I appended it on today with the time, who did it, and what I added to it. Okay. Also at the top we can void a memo. So as we said, you can't delete memos, but you can void them. So I can select a memo. I can click on void. It will say, are you sure you want to unvoid it? Because once you void it, you cannot unvoid it. Once it's voided, it's basically a useless memo. So I'm going to answer yes. And now you see in red it tells me it's been voided. Now one of the handy things about this, since you can't delete memos, is you can hide your voided ones. Over here on the upper right it says don't show voided memos. And once I check mark this, it will hide all voided memos on all of my clients. So if I check mark here, poof, just like magic, the voided memo disappeared. It's still there. If I want to bring it back, I simply uncheck mark this, and it's going to go ahead and it's going to come back. See, there it is. What else can you do in here? I can snooze a memo reminder. You see here, I have a memo reminder. If I click on snooze, as I explained before, you can change the date. Let's say I want to do it next Tuesday. I'm going to hit OK. And now it's changed the date, and this reminder will no longer appear in my memo reminders, and it will reappear on the 31st. Now we can dismiss. As I said, once you're done with a reminder, please dismiss it. It just takes a couple seconds. Otherwise, you'll end up with piled up memo reminders in there, and you don't want that because you have to delete them one at a time. So if I click on dismiss, it'll say, are you sure you want to dismiss this memo? Because once it's dismissed, it's dismissed. Okay, you can't undismiss it. I answer yes, and now you see in the column that says dismiss, there is now a check mark, letting you know that you have dismissed it. One other thing here in the memo section is you can filter by these policies. If it had multiple policies, this client did, I would see multiple policies and I can choose it. Matter of fact, let's go back out to search and let's see, I think I have somebody here with multiple policies. Yeah, there we go, Tim Johnson. Let's go back to memos. And let's click the drop down. This is very handy if you don't want to have to look through all your memos. Maybe you know your memo pertains to this policy right here with ABCO, with the coverage of dwelling and fire. You can select it and you see now it dropped it down to a total of 6 memos. Okay, and it all belongs with that one policy. There's also the memo type filter. There is a chance that maybe you don't want to see all your memos in here. Most people are going to want to do that, see all of them, but you don't have to if you don't want. You can hide memos. So by that memo type, which I explained earlier, which is over here to the far right, here's all the type, that this one's a payment, reinstatement, a policy was issued, a new policy. Okay, and here this shows me a new form was added. If I click on memo type filter, okay, there we go. It just is telling me it's going to display only the memo type of memo and phone at this point in time is what that message just told me. So we always have those check marked. Now I can choose to select them all, and I can see all my memo reminders, or I can deselect them all, including these that we have selected for you, and select only the ones I want to see. Let's see, maybe I only want to do with ones that have to do with, let's see here, let's do new form. I'll hit OK here. You see, now I only have one memo because that's the only one that had the filter of new form. It's up to you if you'd like to use this filter or not. It is available if you'd like to use it. I'm going to hit OK, and now all my memos are back. Okay, one thing I just want to point it out again, that when you dismiss a memo reminder, it does not dismiss your memo itself. Okay, as you just saw when I dismissed one earlier, it put a check mark in the dismissed area, and we'll do it again right here. Dismiss. Yes, I'm sure. It dismissed it, but as you see, it tells me it's dismissed and the memo is still here. It's simply pulling the reminder off of it. And now that's our memo section. Next, we're going over our activity section. Now, this activity section, there isn't a lot that you can actually manually do within this section. What this is for is we record an activity for just about everything you do in this program. And down on the lower right here, it tells you that these entries are system generated. So since they're system generated, these activities cannot be deleted, nor can you edit an activity. Okay, they are part of the permanent record. The things that you can do in here is I can come up here and click on print, which will print out a list of these activities on if you want an actual hard copy of it. If there's one in here I feel is important to me, I can highlight it. It makes it nice bright yellow, definitely stands out from all the rest of the activities. If it's no longer important to me, I can simply unhighlight it. Okay, pulls the yellow off. And I can also void one if I need to. I can select one and click on void. It'll say, are you sure you want to void this? Because once it's voided, you cannot unvoid it. Okay, once it's voided, it's basically now a dead activity. So if I answer yes, you see it turns it bright red and it tells me it's been voided. Now, since you cannot change anything in here, you can only void, you can't delete or edit. Over here on the upper right where it says don't show voided activities, I can check mark this and it hides the voided activities, and it hides them on all of the clients. They're still there. If I uncheck mark it, it comes back. But if you'd like to hide them, you can. You can also filter by policies. Okay, here's multiple policies. Maybe I only want to see the activities pertaining to this policy. Here they are. Okay, dropped it down to 6. And that's pretty handy if you're looking for a specific activity and you know it pertains to one policy. I can also filter this just like I can my memo section, because activities are assigned a type as well. Over here to the right you see the types like payment, reinstatement, new form, memo, new policy. So I can filter these as well. Right now I have them all selected. I can deselect it and maybe I only want the reinstatements and payments. I hit OK. You see I dropped it down to 3 activities. So you can filter these if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and reselect all mine because I like to see all my information. And that is basically your activity section.